What's up, everyone? What's up, everyone? Welcome into the Cannonballs podcast. As you can tell, Jake is hype AF right now. As always, I'm one of your hosts, Dane Cannon. Co-hosting with me today is
a very happy 49er fan, your boy, Jake Mother effing Bulls on the mic. 1, 2.
Yeah, that was definitely a good game. I'll give you that one.
Very, very. Well, we'll talk about it later, but yeah, I got a lot to say. You want to talk about a team owning another team, at least in the regular season? Well, yes. 49ers.
And then you're talking about 49ers and the Rams. Yeah, exactly.
Yes.
But guys, we got a good episode for you today. We're going to do kind of things a little bit differently, slightly. So we're just going to add one thing. So we're officially a quarter way through the NFL season. So we're going to do kind of like a little recap with that. We're going to kind of, just give our thoughts and opinions. And then later on, we'll just go over week 4 per recap. We'll kind of go game by game as we usually do. So just stay tuned, guys. If you aren't already, please make sure you go ahead and like, comment, subscribe to the channel. We greatly appreciate it. Listen to the first 5 minutes. Jake, do you have anything to add before we get started?
Yeah, I honestly can't believe the first month of the NFL season is already over. I think this has been the fastest month in recent memory. Usually the NFL season kind of drags on. I know that's weird to say because we love football, but usually just is slower. But it's already been a month. That's crazy to me. Maybe it's because it's been an exciting month so far.
It's been an exciting month, but I think that as we get older and we're just constantly busy doing adult stuff, it kind of just makes time go by so much quicker. But true. It has been a very quick month. So, Jake, what are your biggest takeaways now that we've officially gone through a quarter of the NFL season? What are your biggest takeaways so far?
I don't think there's any slouch teams for the first time in a long time, if that makes any sense. I think we've been saying it for the last couple weeks. All the teams that are usually at the bottom of the league they have dog in them. Even though the Texans don't have a win, they played the Chargers this weekend and they almost came back. So, and the Falcons are a surprise. The Jaguars are a surprise. The Jets, they won this weekend. I don't think there's any give me games in this league anymore. And that hasn't been, I don't even remember the last time we've been able to say that as NFL fans. I mean, you used to play the Browns and that used to be a win, or you used to play the Lions. That was a win every time. That was an automatic 2 wins for everybody in the NFC North. So I love when the league all improves all around. It just makes it more fun as fans. So yeah, I think that's my biggest takeaway. And I think defense is dominating so far I think defense is dominating so far this first quarter of the NFL. You've seen these elite defenses going up against elite offenses, and I think the defenses have been getting the upper hand as right now. But there's still a lot of NFL season to watch. So what do you think what's your biggest takeaway for the NFL first quarter of the NFL season?
Well, mine's very similar. I mean, excluding the Philadelphia Eagles, who are currently the only undefeated team in the NFL, I feel like this is the closest that the top tier teams have been in a while as well. I think that any game could go either which way. Baltimore almost beat Buffalo this week, and they kind of gave up the lead. And I think that you could place any of the top 10 teams in the NFL, and I think on any given Sunday they would win. So it's very competitive this year. This NFL season, like you were stating, there's no gimme games, but it's also one of the more competitive games. I feel that throughout the first 4 games of the NFL season, there have been a lot of sloppy play, and I feel like no team other than Philadelphia right now has basically separated themselves as being a perfect ball club. Because, they are the only undefeated team. Buffalo's pretty damn close, but they are injured. So it's hard to keep them in that same conversation because I don't know how the injuries are going to play a factor later down the road. But, they did get a couple players back. We'll see, man. I just think this is an exciting season. there have been a decent amount of high-scoring games as well. I mean, one of them this week was 45-48 or 45-43 with the Seattle and Detroit game. And then you also had Tampa Bay, who had one of the best defenses, getting like blown out by Kansas City, it felt like. All right, what were you going to say?
I was going to say, if I think they would have had more effect if the defenses just didn't walk on the field in those two games. There was zero defense to be had in that Seahawks-Lions game. But yeah, I mean, it's been a fun first month. I'll agree with you. A lot of sloppy play. There's been a lot of, I think, besides the Eagles, which I didn't think they would be this good. I thought that we both agreed that they would be good, but I think you had it right. The elite teams, like even the Buffalo Bills, they had some question marks. Mainly with the injuries, I would say, but all the other teams, like you said, in the top 10, there is some question marks for every one of them. But yeah, you want to get into the week 4 matchups?
Let's do it. So starting off, we had Miami traveling to Cincinnati, where a doctor ended up getting fired because he didn't know what the hell he was talking about previously. Miami ends up dropping this one 27-15. You know, the Bengals are looking more like the Bengals now. The offensive line is gelling a little bit better than they did the first 3 matchups. Joe Burrow looks good. Jamar Chase, Tyler Boyd, T. Higgins, Joe Mixon. I think that offense is just really getting in a groove currently. The defense is stepping up when they need to. It was unfortunate for Tua because he did go down again, had another concussion. So that kind of ruined their chances of winning this game because who's their backup? Teddy Bridgewater?
Yeah, Teddy Two Gloves.
Yeah, Teddy Two Gloves. And I mean, he's not like a bad backup, but it's harder to win with Teddy, in my opinion, because he seems more like a game manager. He did have an awesome throw to Tyreek Hill. I'll give him that one. So I think Miami will be fine, but I was a little bit surprised that Tua got injured again. I think that if he was in there, it would have been a closer game. But, you know, Cincinnati handled business at home. Joe Burrow looked good. Tyreek Hill had 160 yards receiving, so that's insane. But
I mean, speaking of receiving, T. Higgins at 124, Jamar Chase 81, Tyler Boyd 47, and I mean they're just showing why against a good defense. Like the Dolphins have a good defense, and they're showing why everyone thinks they're the best wide receiver core in the NFL. I mean, I just wanted to touch on the Tua thing. You know, it was a scary sight seeing him. You know, I don't even know what you would call that. Fingered up like that, posturing. It kind of looked like rigor mortis. It looked like rigor mortis in a way, just like his body was all tense and. Yeah, it was not a pretty sight, and I wanted to ask you, do you think? I mean, Tua's been hurt every year he's been in the league, and this is two pretty serious injuries in a row, and back-to-back weeks. You think there's any chance he retires?
I think there is a chance he could have an early retirement. I don't think it would be this year or next year, but it could be something like Andrew Luck, you know, where you don't expect it necessarily, and then one day he just comes out and says, my body cannot take the punishment anymore. I mean, Andrew Luck seems so much happier since he retired the NFL because he's not putting his body through like a living hell, because Andrew Luck had to deal with a lot of injuries too, especially with concussions. So it could be something similar with Tua. I think it's too early to tell right now, but I think it's definitely a possibility. Yeah. I feel bad for the guy. I mean, this looked like his first year. I mean, it was early in the season, but it looked like it was going to be his first year where he could finally put it together. Yep. They had a team around them, and so I feel bad for the guy, but you know, life goes on, I guess. Life does indeed. You ready to move on to the next match? Oh, go ahead. I just want to let the listeners know we picked different teams to win this game. This was my first Thursday night matchup that I got incorrect, but I want to say that I did beat Dane for the first time this year
in our pick.
This was definitely my roughest one in my pick'ems for sure. But yeah, I am still currently undefeated on Thursday night. I still have not picked one wrong, but like Jake already capitalized on, I had a rough pick'ems league. So let's get on to the next game, Jake. So this one was the early morning 6 a.m. London game. We had Minnesota playing New Orleans.
Did you wake up to watch this?
No, I didn't. Did you?
Dude, okay, so I never watched the London games. Like I did, but luckily I had homework that I had to do, so I was like, all right, I'll watch the game, do my homework, and it was actually a really good game.
Yeah,
it was very entertaining.
I saw the highlights of it, so I didn't get to see like the actual game live, but I saw like some of the plays here and there. Also, they were showing a lot of stuff on Red Zone, which we were able to watch at the house that I was at over the weekend. But yeah, I mean, my biggest takeaway is, Minnesota keeps winning. I mean, they're close games when they win, but, they keep winning. Justin Jefferson came back down to his godly form. Dalvin Cook looked good. Kirk Cousins looked good.
147 yards. 147 yards receiving.
Adam Thielen looked
good. And a rushing touchdown.
Yeah, I think Minnesota looked good. I mean, their defense stepped up when they needed to. If we're looking at the other side of the ball, I think not having Jameis Winston out there kind of hurt them. Andy Dalton didn't do poorly by any means, but, I think Jameis gives some of the receivers a little bit more home run ability where like he could hit the deeper pass, in my opinion. But I think Chris Olave still looked good for New Orleans. I think that he did well. He's one of the standout rookies, in my opinion, this year.
Yeah, Chris Olave looked really good. I want to say like Jameis Winston, I think he's more willing to throw that home run ball, even if it is at the detriment of throwing a interception. But Andy Dalton did fine in this game. I was actually surprised. I don't even know what to say about the Saints.
They're a very challenging team to predict.
Yeah. I think they're just going to lose a bunch of close games. And when I look at the elite teams of the NFL, I don't see the Saints. They have a decent defense. But I mean, the Vikings, took care of business against them. So I don't know. I think the Saints could maybe sneak into playoffs, but I don't know. They are a hard team.
Yeah, I think that they're possibly a fringe wild card team at this point in the season. I mean, it is only a quarter of the way through. Who knows if Jameis comes back, Michael Thomas is healthy, they have like all their weapons again. Maybe it could look like a different team, which I'm sure it would.
That is a good point, Dane. They were without a lot of weapons this game. Right. I mean, Michael Thomas was out. Alvin Kamara was a late scratch. Who else was out? I think there was a couple. Toronto. No, he's not on there. One of their tackles was out, I believe. So yeah, they were, and of course Jameis was out, but it's hard to win games without your stars, but I mean, they still did a pretty good job. They almost won it at the end with a double doink, but,
yeah.
So yeah,
that was crazy because he made Will Lutz made a 60-yarder earlier in the game and then doinked a 61-yarder, which is kind of heartbreaking because he's a good kicker, man. I mean, he put them in position because that would have tied it, right? I don't think that they would have won it.
Yeah.
So it would have sent the game to OT, but it was a good, valiant effort. I think that this was an exciting game to watch the replay on, so I'm sure that seeing it live was actually even more fun.
Yeah, it was definitely a fun game. It kicked off the Sunday matchups really well.
Okay. So let's move on, Jake. Let's move on to Cleveland going to Atlanta. And I'm still going to say it. Atlanta is one of my favorite teams to watch. They are a younger team. They're exciting. Their defense is outperforming what my expectations were. I think the offense is a lot of fun to watch. And Cleveland is very limited in they rely very heavily on the running game. And I mean, Nick Chubb, he's going to do Nick Chubb things. Kareem Hunt, he'll do things here and there, but Nick Chubb ran for, I think, 118 yards, something like that. Jacoby Brissett also.
118.
Jacoby Brissett also threw for, I think, like 234. So not terrible. But Atlanta, they surprised me, man. I did not think Atlanta was going to win this game, but they pulled it off. They didn't they have a stellar like goal line stand? Am I thinking of the correct game? It might have been a different game.
I don't really much. I mean, again, it's hard to watch all the games. Watched it on Red Zone, but every time I saw them, they were doing something, running the ball. I know they stripped Nick Chubb a couple times.
Maybe that's what it was.
I believe he had 1 or 2 fumbles in this game. If I'm tripping, I might be tripping.
I'm pretty sure there was a goal line stand by them. I'm not positive.
Wow, I am tripping. I guess he didn't have a fumble. Someone fumbled in this game. Maybe it was Kareem Hunt.
Yeah, I can't remember. I know frickin' damn well Melvin Gordon fumbled, even though this isn't that game. But anytime I see a former Charger that pisses me off, I can watch that and be happy about it.
Yes.
But yeah, I think Atlanta's outperforming what people expected they would. And, Marcus Mariota's not doing a terrible job. So I think that, watch out. Atlanta's a scrappy team. They could upset people. Because I think Cleveland was probably the favorite in this one.
Oh, for sure. And that's what I'm saying about like all these. There's no gimme games. Like Atlanta at the beginning of the season, they would have been like, oh, that's an easy win. I mean, it's kind of scary because the 49ers played them this year. And I mean, on paper, at the beginning of the season, that would have been a give me win. But they're a scrappy team and they have weapons. Unfortunately, they are going to be without Cordell Patterson for a month. He hurt his knee. Yeah. So that sucks. But Tyler Algier, I believe his name is, he came in and he was running the ball beautifully. Only thing I would say about this team is they need to get Kyle Pitts the ball more.
Yep.
Not just for fantasy,
last week they did, but then this week it's like reverting back to how it was the first 2 weeks.
Yeah. I mean, what people say, he's the best tight end prospect to come out since Tony Gonzalez or whatever. Let's prove it because we really haven't seen much, and I still don't think he's scored a touchdown this year or last year. So
yeah, I don't think he has, to be honest. I would have to look that up.
Yeah.
But, if Atlanta can figure Kyle Pitts out, maybe they can frickin' score even more points. They've been a pretty decently high-scoring offense. They're no slouch by any means. But, yeah, it was a good win by Atlanta. I think that they're a scrappy team. I think Cleveland will be okay. Hopefully not this coming week because they play the Chargers. So if they could really screw the pooch on the next game, that would be awesome. Jake, did you have did you have anything you wanted to add to this game?
No. Yeah, Cleveland will be fine. Like I said, Jacoby Brissett is going to take this team places, or he's not. Or is that how you say it?
No,
he's going to
pretty much him, though. He's going to be the determining factor for a lot of the games, I feel like.
Yeah, you said it better. Thank you.
I also think with Myles Garrett coming back, the defense will look better because he did not play this week, I do not believe.
Which is pretty cool because we both picked the Browns to win, but if Myles Garrett was out, we picked the Falcons to win. So we didn't really get this pick, but we did get this pick.
I'll take it.
Hey.
Moving on to the next game was just kind of a boring one, in my opinion. It was kind of just one-sided for what felt like the entirety of the game. Dallas beat Washington 25-10. Washington traveled to Dallas. Dallas is their defense is one of the top, I would say probably top 5 defenses currently. I would say 49ers has to be number 1, in my opinion.
I'm gonna narrow it down. 49ers and Cowboys have the number 1 and 2 defense. I don't know which one yet. I think 49ers. The Cowboys are.
I would say 49ers have a better defense, personally.
The only reason I would maybe give it to the Cowboys is because I think they're more prone to get turnovers. I think they go more for the interception, the fumble, while the 49ers more just shut you down and, lock you up.
That's fair.
But they're both outstanding defenses, and the Cowboys, man. They did play the Commanders, but Yeah, I mean, like you said, that defense is nasty.
Yeah, Micah Parsons, baby. I hated him when I watched him on Hard Knocks. He seemed like that like really annoying football guy who's just freaking nuts. But hey, it comes out when it's time for game day, and it helps. Cooper Rush, undefeated in the NFL, right? He's never lost an NFL game. Is that correct? I'm pretty sure he's 4-0 in the NFL. Pretty sure he's 4-0.
Well, they said there's a stat for, I think it might have been just the Cowboys quarterbacks, but he's one of 3 quarterbacks to start 4-0. Yeah. So yeah, he has got to be 4-0. Yeah, because
I'm pretty sure he's
only
undefeated.
played 3 games.
Yeah, and then I think he played one last year.
Yeah. So, I mean, we totally wrote the Cowboys off once Dak got hurt, but this fool Dak's probably coming back next week. So the Cowboys are going to be fine. CeeDee Lamb coming into stride. He looks good, man. I love watching CeeDee Lamb play. Mm-hmm. Even Zeke is running like he's 18 again or whenever.
Yeah, Zeke definitely looks better.
In the league.
Zeke definitely looks better, and when they utilize him in the passing game, he looks good. I love watching Tony Pollard also. Tony Pollard's one of my favorites. And then I can't remember his name. Is it Noah Brown, the other receiver with dreads? Yeah. That guy's a big body receiver who makes good plays, man. I mean, he surprised me. I think that this Dallas team, kind of responded after the week 1 loss because they did lose week 1, correct?
Mm-hmm.
And like they look good. They seem like a more complete team. So I got a question for you really quick, Jake. If you were a Dallas fan, what do you do if Dak Prescott comes back and then you lose another game? Do you would you question whether you would want to leave in Cooper Rush, or would you want to just keep rolling with Dak even if he struggles?
Keep rolling. I mean, well, as a front office, you got to go with Dak. I mean, this fool makes $40 million a year. Like, there's no question. Like, Dak's going to be the starter. He is a better quarterback than Cooper Rush. Like, he's got more talent. He's got more physical abilities, I believe. I think. Hold on one second.
No worries, ladies and gentlemen. This part will have to be edited out. And Jake's doing the editing, so he freaking better edit this out, because if not, you guys are going to hear me saying this. Okay. Jake, you back?
Sorry about that. My dogs are scratching at the door. It's annoying as hell. No, yeah, you got to go with Dak. It's just there's no question about it. I think this is good for Cooper Rush, though. I think this gives maybe him another opportunity to potentially start somewhere. But there's no question about it. It's going to go back to Dak. You just got to follow the money.
All right. Yeah, I would definitely say the same thing. Washington was not impressive by any means this game.
Good God.
I don't really have anything to say. They couldn't get anything going. Dallas's defense swallowed them alive. I mean, Jahan Dotson, I think, would be the one bright spot that I would say. He's a rookie receiver, and he's looking good. He's looking promising as a first-round pick. A lot of people said that they would have rather taken him in the second round, but he looks good. Washington's defense is not impressing me. I think they desperately need Chase Young out there.
Yeah, they definitely miss Chase Young. And real quick about Jahan Dotson, he did pull a hamstring, so he's going to be out for the next 2 weeks.
Curtis Samuel, please do something for fantasy.
Yeah, the Commanders look awful, man. They look awful, but I mean, it's crazy to me because the Bears look way more awful on offense than the Commanders, which is insane to me. It's hard to do.
Points in previous games, they've looked better. Obviously, I mean, it's probably just because Dallas is a top tier defense, which is understandable.
Yeah. I'm gonna blame this one on how good the Cowboys defense is, and how mediocre. I'm gonna say they're middle of the pack, but I think it just showed because they played an elite defense. But I got nothing else to say. This game was boring. Let's move on.
This was the most exciting game of the week, in my opinion. This was the Seattle Seahawks traveling to Detroit to play the Lions. This game was back and forth. There was one part where it seemed like Seattle was just going to blow them out, and then Detroit came fighting back. This was easily one of the most exciting games, and also made me realize I should have been playing Geno Smith in fantasy. What am I doing? Geno Smith. I think it's the name associated with the player, Geno Smith. I don't associate Geno Smith with relevancy in fantasy, but it was a good game. It was back and forth, a lot of good passing, especially because Detroit was without Amon-Ra St. Brown. They were running out there without DJ Shark. So they're down two of their receivers, and yet they still made things happen. TJ Hawkinson went off. Even though Detroit lost this game, Jared Goff, TJ Hawkinson looked good. Go ahead.
179 yards receiving and 2 touchdowns.
Yeah, he looked freaking great.
For a tight end.
And then, dude,
Too bad he can't do that all the
almost
time.
for like a 70-yard touchdown, which was insane. Did you see the one where he ran down
it was,
for like 70 yards?
It was very impressive.
But I think
and he broke the tackle.
Yeah, he broke the tackle. Are you lagging right now?
Yes, I am.
Okay. Yeah, because you're responding a couple seconds late. So hopefully that fixes and corrects itself. But I will say Jared Goff looked good. Detroit looked good. Unfortunately, Seattle looked better. Rashad Penny had a day on the ground. Rashad Penny rushed for 151 yards, which is absolutely insane. Geno Smith got the ball to DK Metcalf a bunch this game. Tyler Lockett looked good. I just think Seattle's offense looked good against Detroit. I mean, Detroit isn't really known for having a great defense, but this was a back and forth game. It was exciting. I thought this was the game of the week.
I'll say the Falcons Browns game was the game of the week. Just because it had a little bit more defense on it. This was an exciting game though. If you like scoring, I like scoring, but with some defense. You gotta have some defense on there. You gotta have both aspects or some aspects of the game. But it was definitely a fun one to watch. I had Jared Goff in fantasy, so he's been balling out for me, and it's just impressive that they did it without DeAndre Swift, Amon-Ra St. Brown. They learned how to. I mean, they were down by several scores in this game, and they fought. So the Lions have dog in them. Like I said, this would have been a gimme game last year, but not this year. So I like it. Unfortunately, the Seahawks won. And now the NFC West is 2-2, all tied up. So Every team, awesome. We did get this game incorrect. We both went with the Lions.
Detroit, and I really wish that would have come true because I also picked them in my Pick'ems league, and this is the game that knocked me out. Son of a gun. Anyway, exciting game. Don't count out either of these teams. They're scrappy. I definitely don't think that they're a top-tier team by any means, but they can definitely put up a fight like Jake stated. All right, moving on. We have the Tennessee Titans traveling to Indianapolis to play the Colts. Derrick Henry looks pretty much back to normal. He's looking good. Treylon Burks unfortunately got hurt. What's up?
Bro. Derrick Henry looks more than normal. This fool is catching passes now. Get out of here, dude.
I mean, sometimes he bobbles it a little bit, but sometimes he bobbles it a little bit.
He's definitely not the most graceful when it comes to receiving, but catching the ball with a full head of steam, watch out, bro. Like, that is scary. I'd shit my pants if that happened to me or if I saw that on the field.
Oh, dude, he's just a monster. And when it gets colder and the Yeti comes out, every team is screwed.
Yeah, that was my Yeti noise.
But I think this wasn't really a quarterback game by any means. I mean, Matt Ryan did throw for 356 yards. It just felt like it wasn't enough. I mean, I don't know how I would really put this game. I feel like Jonathan Taylor hasn't been living up to expectations this year if we're looking at it from like a fantasy standpoint. But he also just hasn't really had that. What were you going to say?
As someone who has Jonathan Taylor on one of his fantasy teams, he's been a complete disappointment so far. He's gotten like 5 points, like the most. Like the Colts have been a disappointment so far in the first quarter, I would say. They don't look good.
That's what I was going to say. Their offense they don't put up points. I don't know what it is. You would kind of expect Matt Ryan to come in here and lead this team to higher scoring points than Carson Wentz did. But, I'm starting to kind of second guess that now. The offensive line doesn't look that great. I say that every week. It just doesn't look like the unit that we're used to seeing. That was like a top 5 unit. Indianapolis's defense can still play ball, but their offense needs to figure things out. Tennessee did lose Treylon Burks, like I already stated. Derrick Henry looks good. Ryan Tannehill spreading the ball around here and there. Tennessee's defense looks pretty good. So, it was a good, solid win for Tennessee. It was a divisional matchup, so I think it was an entertaining one, but not as exciting as I would have hoped.
Yeah, it was boring, to say the least. I got nothing to say about it. We can move on.
All right. If you want to talk about boring, this next one was really boring, except for one player, in my opinion. We have the New York Giants who traveled to Chicago. Chicago traveling to New York to play the Giants. And this game finished 20-12. Chicago's offense continues to struggle. Daniel Jones looked pretty good for New York. And Saquon Barkley, man. Dude, he's back. He is beyond back. He looks like Penn State Saquon. He is a monster this year. I'm so happy that he's healthy because he struggled with injuries the last 2 years. But yeah, 146 yards on the ground. He almost had more rushing yards than Justin Fields had passing yards. That's how insane he is right now.
Speaking of Justin Fields, I want to clap it up for Justin Fields and the Chicago Bears for making Justin Fields throw the ball more than 17 times. So,
you know what? I mean, Darnell Mooney had 94 yards, I believe, something like that. So, at least they had more attempts. They had more attempts, but Chicago's offense still looks like shit.
Where did they just kick field goals the whole time? Just 4 field goals?
I believe so. Or maybe they had
it. Looks like they just they just kicked field goals. It looks like field goals. This game was boring as hell. But I'll say on the Giants side of the ball, not even just Saquon.
Daniel Jones.
I'm glad he's back because he looks good. Yeah, Daniel Jones looks good. And the way what the hell is the coach's name? Drabel? What's his first name?
Dable.
Mike?
Brian Dable.
Is it Mike Drabel? Brian Dable. Wow, I got both wrong. Whatever. I'm not a Giants fan. F off. But the way they were using Daniel Jones, he looked a lot like I'm probably gonna get, ridiculed for saying this, but he looked like Josh Allen when he was running the ball. He looked like Josh Allen. He's definitely not at the same level of Josh Allen. Maybe he can get unlocked, but the Giants are 3-1, man. I like it. I'm here for it.
I like it too. We'll see how long it continues for New York. I mean, impressive. Maybe they can just keep the ball rolling and carry the momentum with them. But yeah, I'm just super happy about Saquon. Maybe Saquon is a difference maker for this offense. Unfortunately, they only scored 20 points against Chicago. I mean, Chicago has a pretty decent defense, but not a very entertaining game unless you were a fan of Saquon or Daniel Jones. All right, let's move on, Jake. Let's go to Jacksonville going to Philadelphia to play the Eagles. And I want to start this off by saying I thought Jacksonville was going to upset Philly. I was like, oh my God. They had an early lead. I think they were up 14 points in the first half, and then Philadelphia responded. Jalen Hurts looks good. Miles Sanders, I think, is the unsung hero of the game. 134 yards on the ground. He looked great. A.J. Brown still looks great. Philadelphia's defense really stepped up, especially in the second half. So, I just think Philadelphia is legit this year. They did only win by 8 points. Jacksonville's competitive, man. Jacksonville is a good team this year. So,
I think
Watch out.
I think the Eagles are legit, but I also think the Jaguars are legit. Maybe not a playoff team this year, but I think they could potentially fight for. I mean, I think they're better than. I mean that that AFC South is up for grabs at the moment.
I agree.
I believe they're tied with the Titans.
Yep.
You know, and we both thought that this was the Colts division to lose, and the Colts, they're pissing it away. The Jags, man, that defense looks good. But you know, I think they just played a really good. Can you still see me?
No, I got a cat now.
Can you still see me, Dane?
No, I cannot. Now I can.
Jeez. Can you see me now?
Yeah, I can. I can
All
see.
right, I'm lagging hella. Sorry about that.
You
folks.
are lagging a lot.
I'm gonna put low data mode. Let's see if this works.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. I just can't see you.
Okay.
All right, maybe this.
It's still
Let's just do
lagging
it.
a
Let's
little
finish
bit.
this episode and then we'll figure it out.
Okay. All right. Well, sorry about
All right.
the technical difficulties, guys.
But yeah, the Jaguars I think are legit. They have a good defense, and watch out for them. They might F around and make playoffs. So they did have, I mean, I think Trevor Lawrence had kind of his worst game so far this year, but you know, they fought. They were up at 14-0. They didn't do much in the second half. So I think they just played a really good Eagles team.
Yeah, Philadelphia is legit this year. All right, let's move on. New York Jets traveled to Pittsburgh and beat the Steelers. However, I'm kind of excited. Kenny Pickett gets to take over and, you know, kind of gets the helm. You know, he gets to lead this team. So I'm excited to see what Kenny Pickett does in his first debut game. I think he rushed for 2 touchdowns, if I'm not mistaken, but he did throw, I believe, 2 interceptions. I cannot remember the exact stat line.
Yes. His first throw as a NFL professional was an interception.
Yeah.
So I believe like Brett Favre did the same thing. So, you know, I don't think about it too much, but yeah, he didn't, I mean, I'm not even going to say anything about him because, you know, you're just thrown into the game. I don't know. You're playing from behind. I don't know. I'm not going to say anything about him. I want to watch him play a full game before I can have a take on him. But I don't know. Let's talk about Zach Wilson, man. This was his first start of the year.
Yeah.
What did you think of Zach Wilson?
I thought that Zach Wilson looked like Zach Wilson. You know, I mean, he threw for 252 yards. He didn't look bad by any means. I think for a first game back, it was a pretty impressive performance. He still has the interceptions, which is something that I wish he would kind of get rid of. But, you know, he's going to put the ball in harm's way, but he has big playability. And I think overall, Zach Wilson performed pretty well today. I mean, he did lead the Jets to win. He definitely likes his receiver, Elijah Moore. That's his go-to guy. I think it's kind of like his comfort that he had from last year. Braxton Berrios even got involved. But yeah, I don't know whether Breece Hall is going to be like basically 1A now, because it kind of feels like they're transitioning from Michael Carter to Breece Hall to be the primary back, but Michael Carter's still involved. Overall, I just think the Jets had a good win over Pittsburgh. You know, I don't think either of these teams are upper echelon this year, but, you know, it was a fun, competitive match and good for the Jets.
Steelers are going to mess around and squeak into the playoffs. Watch.
If Mike Tomlin,
I'm calling it now.
If Mike Tomlin somehow does it again, I will lose my mind. Mike Tomlin's got to have a losing season at least once.
Oh, yeah. Hey, wait, hold up. I just remembered something, Dan.
What's up? Shoot, I didn't get a habanero.
Where's your... we are waiting, Dane. Me and the fans, the listeners are waiting.
You know what's funny is I actually did the Hot Ones Challenge last night, Mariah and Mike. So for those of you who don't know, you probably don't even care. I don't even know why I'm going to talk about this on a football podcast, but here you go. I was with Mariah, who I've known since elementary school, and her fiance, Mike. It was his birthday, and he had all the shout out. He had all the hot sauces from the Hot Ones game show. Like, you know what Hot Ones is, right?
Hey.
And so we tried all of them. Like, we didn't have the wings, unfortunately, because this was at like 2 a.m. And so like, we're obviously like tired and a little bit intoxicated. So he made a whole bunch of eggs. Like, dude, just like a shitload of eggs. And we just poured the hot sauce.
Like hard boiled eggs?
No. Like scrambled.
Oh.
And so he wanted me to try all of them. So he did it with me. And so we tried all the hot sauces last night. And dude, it was funny because I actually enjoyed the bomb. Like, it actually kind of tasted Chipotle-y, and it was pretty tasty. Yeah. And he was like,
yeah, it had good flavor.
And he was like crying. Yeah. But, the last dab was amazing. I loved the last dab. That actually had a really good flavor to it.
Hell yeah. Wow.
But yeah, I should have grabbed it.
Well, I'm glad you finally had the.
My bad.
Yeah, you should have. All right. Sorry for that tangent, folks. What the heck were we talking about?
I don't know. Something about how Pittsburgh is not great.
Yeah, they're not great. Wasn't high on them.
George Pickens
and it's all because
of
the quarterback situation.
Yeah. George Pickens looks good.
Yeah.
And who knows? Maybe with Kenny Pickett knowing he's going to be the starter, watch this offense like pick up or something. I don't know, man. Kenny Pickett, there's a lot to be seen. But I am excited. I think it makes the team more interesting, in my opinion, because it's always fun when you get to see a new quarterback like try and take over the NFL. So we'll see if Pittsburgh can respond next week. I'm excited to watch Kenny Pickett, though. I think it'll be entertaining.
Yeah, same. I mean, let's be honest. Trubisky was never the answer. So
no, not at all.
Only a matter of time. Only a matter of time.
Did they take him out, or did Trubisky get injured? Do you know?
Oh, he took it. Tomlin took him.
Okay, yeah, because I know he had 2 interceptions. Right?
He was just pissed.
He had 2 interceptions.
Yeah, he was tired of his shit, so he's like, "All right, you're out." He had 1 interception. Kenny Pickett had 3 interceptions.
Jesus. All right. Well, good luck to Pittsburgh. We'll see how it goes. All right. Buffalo traveling to Baltimore to play the Ravens. Baltimore.
Woo-hoo, I got this one right. Dave got this one right.
I was looking so good for most of the game, and then Baltimore gave up the lead. You know, it reminded me of when they played Miami, man. Like, they seemed like they had control of this entire game, and then they just let Buffalo come back, and Josh Allen did Josh Allen things and won them the game. I mean, Poyer also like helped them out tremendously with that interception that got tipped in the air. But
yeah,
Buffalo responds. You know, they had was it last week that they lost? Or was it
week 3?
Yeah, so last week
they lost to Miami.
And then they responded back. They beat a good Baltimore team in Baltimore, which is not easy to do. But yeah, you know, Buffalo looks good, man. Josh Allen looks good. Lamar Jackson on the Baltimore side, he continues to do things with his legs and passing. There was a really lucky play that Lamar Jackson had when he actually threw the ball, but to escape the pocket. Did you see that play where he was pretty much going down and then escapes and then throws it out, and then it gets tipped right into, I think Devin Duvernay was the one who caught it.
Dude, thank you for bringing that up, because this play on Red Zone, they showed this play, or like they showed a really good play from some other game, and then they showed this play, and I was just like, you know, jaw dropped for like a good 30 seconds. Ugh, it was awesome. That was an awesome play. But yeah, I mean, the Buffalo Bills won. They, you know, I think they were down by 10 points at half. They came back. Their defense helped them out a lot. And yeah, I mean, they're both good teams. I'm sure they'll see each other in playoffs.
Oh, I'm sure. I'm sure. Especially if Baltimore can stay healthy this year and Buffalo doesn't get any more key injuries, they'll both make playoffs, in my opinion.
Yeah, J.K. Dobbins had a good game.
Yeah, J.K. Dobbins.
I think he had 2 rushing touchdowns.
I think this was his first game back, if I'm not mistaken, right? Like from injury?
I thought he played last week.
Maybe. To be honest, I'm not entirely.
Oh, he only had 1? Wow, I'm tripping. I got my stats wrong. All right, he only had 1 rushing touchdown, but you know, the rushes I did see, he looked decent. So
right.
But yeah, I mean, good game. Did you see Marcus Peters get all like mad and yell at Harbaugh because they didn't let him score or whatever?
No, I didn't actually.
Oh, well, whatever. Yeah, they were just pretty much like the last drive, and they just like kind of ran the clock out because they wanted to kick the game-winning field goal instead of getting a touchdown. But he was all pissed that they let him score. So, yeah, it was just interesting. But, yeah, it was a good game. It was a good game.
I agree. Both playoff teams, in my opinion. All right, next game. We were both wrong on this one. Los Angeles traveled to Houston to play the Texans, and after watching my boys, the Chargers, completely get blown out by the Jags, I thought there was no hope, especially with how many injuries we had. But for me, the biggest storyline here is Brandon Staley decided to go with our rookie backup guard, who we got in the 6th round, Jamari Sawyer, who played at Georgia as a left tackle, looked great. He was going up against SEC schools the entire time in his career. So he's got experience going against good pass rushers. And he came in and looked phenomenal. I don't think that he gave up a single pressure according to PFF, which is phenomenal. He came in, he looked way better.
Yeah, I saw that.
Yeah, he looked way better than Storm Norton. I think if Storm Norton was in there, we would have lost this game, in my opinion. That's just my opinion. But, it was a good win. Justin Herbert looked good. Finally, Austin Eckler got involved and had 3 touchdowns. Mike Williams went back to looking like...
That's what I've been waiting for.
Austin Eckler?
Yeah, I mean, that's one of your best players. You got to get the guy involved.
Agreed. And, Mike Williams looked good. Josh Palmer got involved. Gerald Everett looked good. It seemed like a complete game for the Chargers for the first time this year, in my opinion. They did almost give up the lead.
I will say, yeah. I wouldn't say it was a complete game. They looked good in the first couple, quarters, and then they started letting the Texans come back a little bit. Made me a little nervous, actually, because I wanted the Texans to win because I picked them. But like I said, like we've been saying, I'm going to say it again. The Texans have some dog in them as well. And you can't let up on teams like this anymore. Like you can't, they're not going to roll over and die. Damian Pierce, is that his name?
Yep. 75
yeah, Damian Pierce, man.
Touchdown run. I mean, this is back-to-back weeks that the Chargers have given up over a 50-yard rushing touchdown, which is scary. Why the hell is Brandon Staley putting Christian Covington and Jerry Tillery in there? Take them out. Put in Braden Fajoko. I do not understand that one bit. I don't get it. Like, Sebastian Joseph Day, Morgan Fox, you're obviously without Joey Bosa, but you got Khalil Mack in there, and they're all, like, good against the run. Why the hell is Jerry Tillery in there? I don't know.
Draft capital. I don't know.
Yeah, for real.
He was a first round pick.
First round pick, so 2018, I believe, 19, somewhere around there.
Yeah. Former Notre Dame captain. Yeah.
Well,
yeah, good win by the Chargers. I mean, to win even against the Texans, who don't have a win, to win against that kind of team, it could have been a trap game easily. But with all the injuries to the Chargers, I'm glad they figured out a way to win because, I mean, they got decimated last week. It was actually the last 2 weeks. So
bloodbath.
Yeah, I'm glad they could. I'm glad they could figure out a way to win, even though I picked the Texans.
Well, I picked them too. Maybe I just got to pick against the Chargers from now on and they'll win. But the reason I said it was a complete game is even though they were giving up points, especially in the second half, they still responded. They score a touchdown and then they get an interception to seal the game. So it's like, it wasn't like a nail biter because once you took the lead near the end of the game, then you have more comfort and the defense can actually stop them instead of like that whole bend. It was like a bend, don't break type situation, but then you also intercept the game or the ball and win the game. So I don't know. I thought it was a good win for the Chargers. They looked a lot better than they did against the Jags. But, hopefully with Jamari Sawyer out there, hopefully that offensive line can pick things up because I was really concerned losing Rashawn Slater, but I do feel a lot better with Sawyer out there. Anything else to add, Jake, or are you done with this game?
Justin Herbert's amazing.
Yeah.
I like Justin Herbert a lot.
I do too, man.
All right, let's move on. And thank you for throwing Mike Williams the ball. I needed that. These 2 reception games are not going to cut it anymore. I have him on one of my fantasy leagues. I also have Gerald Everett on one of my fantasy leagues. And I'm going to just need you to, feed them, Mr. Herbert. But we can move on.
I think he will. All right. The next game, we have the Arizona Cardinals traveling to Carolina. And this was like the first time in a while that Arizona's beaten Carolina in the regular season. Marquise Hollywood.
We also
Brown,
got this one wrong.
Yeah, I did get this one wrong because I thought that tradition history was going to repeat itself. Carolina had been owning the Cardinals for whatever the reason, but Arizona looked pretty dang good. I mean, I think that this was the best game offensively speaking without DeAndre Hopkins. I think Kyler Murray did enough. I mean, he only passed for I think like 200 yards or somewhere around there. But, James Conner, go ahead.
I don't think Kyler Murray looks good. Like, there's something about him this year that I can't put my finger on. Okay, I know what it is. It looks like he just chucks the ball out. Does he go through his progressions? Does he do anything? I don't know. It looks like he's just chucking and praying, honestly. I agree with you. This was their best game so far this year. I mean, I think they had a little sloppy of a first quarter, but other than that, they picked it up.
For sure.
Hollywood Brown looked good. The defense actually decided to, play some defense, which, about time. Dude, they had like 9 batted passes down, which is, as a quarterback, that has to be frustrating.
Oh, for sure. They also intercepted Baker.
So the Panthers didn't look too hot. I think they tried to make it a game, and then they just didn't. I don't know. The Panthers are
poo-poo right now.
Yeah, Christian McCaffrey had 27 yards rushing, 81 yards receiving.
I mean, he looks good in the receiving game. Christian McCaffrey had a pretty decent game, but other than that, I'm not too thrilled about Carolina. Baker just doesn't do it for me. The offense just doesn't excite me other than Christian McCaffrey. I mean, DJ Moore, he's been kind of a dud recently. Maybe if he gets utilized more, the team will look better.
I think so far they're the worst team in that division. I got the Bucks, Saints, and Falcons by a wide margin, and then I got the Panthers.
I would agree with that.
I thought maybe the Panthers could sneak in as maybe a potential dark horse playoff, but this is just showing why Baker was traded. And I wanted to give him the benefit of the doubt, but it's not looking pretty in Charlotte. So I don't have much else to say. I'm happy because I have Hollywood Brown in like almost all of my fantasy leagues. He had a game where he stepped up. He looked good. This is the first game he looked good. So I'm excited for when.
Not only that, DeAndre Hopkins comes back after 2 more games. So in 3 games, we'll finally get to see D-Hop. So I think this offense is going to take that next step. Rondell Moore just came back.
Yep.
So I think this offense is really going to start picking it up near the second quarter of the NFL season.
Yeah, I honestly think if the Cardinals can go 3-3 in the first 6 games where D-Hop is out, I think they'll be fine. I think they'll pick. I mean, it might be a little bit getting back into the swing of things with D-Hop, but I think give it a game or 2, or maybe just they'll go right away, like right when he gets back in. Because with D-Hop and Hollywood Brown, that's going to be a dangerous duo. So maybe look out for the Cardinals. But I'm glad to see they are. Well, I'm glad to see they turned it around against a team they should have beat.
Me too. All right, let's move on. So this one was actually surprising to me. I did not think that this one was going to be as close as it was. New England travels to Green Bay.
I put the 16 on this one.
Did you?
And they were making me sweat. Golly. I mean, I didn't come close to winning my pools, but I mean, still, you got to hit your 16.
Right.
Dude, Bailey Zappi?
Dude,
I remember watching I remember watching this dude like a couple games. Like, I don't know why. I just remember him playing at Western Kentucky. And I'm like, why does that name sound so familiar? And I'm like, oh, I remember him. in college. But dude, the Patriots defense, I think that's the theme about a lot of NFL teams this year. There's a lot of like elite defenses. There's a lot of elite defenses with mediocre offenses, and that's unfortunate.
I don't know if I would consider New England's defense elite, but I would definitely consider it like top 10.
Yeah, I mean, to me, anything in the top 10 is elite. I mean, the Patriots
top 5 for me is elite. That's just my preference.
I'll say a good defense then. Yeah, I'll say they have a solid defense for sure. I mean, they stopped Aaron Rodgers. They almost beat Aaron Rodgers. Yeah, I don't know what the hell he went on in this game. I
mean, Allen Lazard looked good.
Defense.
Aaron Jones looked good. Romeo Doubs looked good, minus the fumble. Green Bay's defense stepped up when they needed to. But yeah, I think Zappe actually surprised me when I was watching this game. I was unsure how it was going to go, but Ramondre Stevenson looked pretty decent. Bailey Zappe looked pretty decent. Nelson Aguilar looked decent.
Trying to find. Oh, you know what looked the best on the Patriots? That rushing attack. The Patriots didn't have an answer for it. And Ramondre Stevenson. The Patriots, you know how we've been talking up that defense. They didn't have an answer for that rushing attack.
Are you talking about Green Bay or New England?
No, New England. Damian Harris had 86 and Ramondre Stevenson had 66 yards. That's all they did. When Bailey Zappe entered the game, they didn't throw the ball. I mean, they did occasionally, but it was mostly, 2 or 3 run plays in a row.
But were you saying Green Bay didn't have an answer to it?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Because you said New England. That's why I was confused.
Yeah, New England's rushing attack.
Okay, got you. I know what you're saying. Okay, got it.
Yeah. They had a solid defense. I mean, so did the freaking Green Bay Packers. Aaron Jones 110 rushing and AJ Dillon 73 yards rushing. Yeah, I mean, I'm glad the Packers. I hate saying that, but I'm glad the Packers won. I also have a bet on the Patriots, so every time the Patriots lose is a good thing for me and you.
Yep,
and you. So I already got my eyes on a Justin Smith throwback jersey. So if you're listening to this, Zach, what's your throwback jersey that you're gonna want?
Man, it's got to be either Gates or LT for me, man.
Ooh, LT.
Yeah, dude, LT. I would love to. I don't know why I never got an LT jersey. I mean, mostly because I was a kid when I watched him, but yeah, I got to get an LT jersey. I mean, I never even went to my first game till I was in high school, so I don't even think I had a jersey until
I've never even been to a game.
Well, we'll be going to one in just a month, so stay tuned for that.
Yes, sir. Actually, yeah, a little over a month, like a month and a week.
Yeah, something like that.
If that. No, it's probably like a month. It's probably like a month from this Sunday. But yeah, I'm surprised that the Packers almost lost to the Bailey Zappe led Patriots. But I'm just gonna credit that to good coaching and good defense. I still have questions about the Packers weapons. I know Romeo Doubs is stepping up. I know Christian Watson started to step up a little bit in this game. And of course, Aaron Jones and AJ Dillon. Jesus. Maybe I'm just used to seeing Devontae Smith dominate on that team. And that's what I'm like questioning. Adams. Where is that? What did I say?
You said Devontae Smith.
What did I say? Dude, I'm on crack right now. I'm sorry, guys. I am messing up all over. I'm just going to shut up. Dane, take it away.
Okay, but yeah, it was a close game, but, Green Bay did pull off the win. So let's move on. We have Denver traveling to Las Vegas, where Las Vegas finally got its first win. I think we both picked Las Vegas to win this one. I'm not high on Denver's offense at all. I think especially now that Javonte Williams is out, this is going to be a tough
for the
hill
season
to overcome. Yeah, he's gone for the season. It's going to be a tough hill to overcome.
He's out for the season. All right, so three things. Javonte Williams is out for the season. The Broncos rely on that rushing attack, and Melvin Gordon has a fumbling problem.
Yep.
He's fumbled in every game this year. Not that it's been recovered by the opposing defense every time, but he has fumbled every time this year. And, you said it earlier, he fumbled, and that cost them a scoop and score. And then there was like one drive where Russell Wilson actually looked good to me. I don't know what the hell is wrong with Russell Wilson. Maybe he's lost it. I don't know. Cortland Sutton, looks good. Jerry Jeudy had some catches in here. I don't know. What do you think is wrong with them? Do you think it's just that they can't really get the rushing game going?
No, I feel like they've had somewhat success when Javonte Williams was healthy, but for me, it's mostly Russell Wilson has been the kind of X factor in a way that's held them back in a way. I just don't think he's been consistent enough. There isn't that chemistry yet. Maybe he's so used to Seattle's schematics and the way that Pete Carroll used to run the offense over there. But I think it's an adjustment period. I think it probably will improve. I mean, Russell Wilson is a good quarterback. There's no denying that. He's not playing as well as he should, but, he can definitely turn it around. We will see. It's going to be harder now with Javonte Williams out because Melvin Gordon's going to have to kind of be that bell cow in a way. Who's their third string running back? Do you remember his name?
It was Boone.
Yeah, Boone.
Mike Boone.
But he had 3 carries for 20 yards. Breaking news, they did sign Latavius Murray from the Saints practice squad. Did they?
Yeah, so and actually bringing back to that Saints Vikings game, Latavius Murray looked like he had some juice in a couple of his rushes. So I don't know. I'm just the Broncos have not impressed me in the slightest.
Same.
I mean, at the beginning when they made all these acquisitions, well, actually they didn't really only made a couple acquisitions, but they were pretty impactful acquisitions. With Russell Wilson, Randy Gregory, DJ Jones. I mean, that defense still looks really good, but they have not impressed me on that offensive side of the ball.
Same.
But the Raiders, they were bound to win. And I think it was, a matter of time. I really could not have seen them going 0-4. It would have been the best 0-4 team I've ever seen.
Yeah, I mean, the Raiders have talent everywhere, and Josh Jacobs, I think, had a hell of a game. I mean, he rushed for like 144 yards. Devontae Adams was going. Max Crosby on the defensive side of the ball looked great for Las Vegas. I think Derek Carr looked better. I just think
2 sacks.
Yeah, I think Derek Carr looked better. And so I just think it was an overall better game. I think Las Vegas, like you said, was bound to win, and they did win. And they scored 32 points against a good Denver defense. So I think Las Vegas may get things going now. We will see. They're going into the second quarter of the NFL season. So, yeah, hopefully they can keep it rolling, but not rolling enough to overtake the Chargers.
What's the next game?
All right. So we have 2 more games. This is the Sunday night game. We have Tampa Bay and the Kansas City Chiefs. Kansas City being the away team traveling to Tampa Bay. Kansas City scored 41 points. Tampa Bay scored 31. So if you bet the over on this game, you were a happy person because I guarantee it hit the over.
Real quick, am I alone in this? But was this game boring as hell? To me, it was boring.
For me, it felt very one-sided. It felt like Kansas City was just kind of a cakewalk. I mean, even though they only lost by 10, Tampa Bay just never seemed like they were competitive in this game. I mean, it seemed like it was kind of a runaway.
I mean, I think they were only they were in within 10, pretty much the entire game. No, were they up? I think 21. Were they up 21-0 at one point?
Let me check. I'm sure that I could find out that. If I can.
I don't know. It was kind of boring to me. Like you said, the Chiefs just steamrolled them. They looked elite. They looked back to their elite ways.
So,
I mean, Patrick Mahomes.
So really quick, it was basically 28-17 after the first half.
Yeah, maybe I just lost interest because I knew the freaking Chiefs were gonna win. But yeah, it was a boring ass game. To me, if Chiefs steamrolled, Patrick Mahomes looked, it was doing Patrick Mahomes like things. That one play he did where he like spun and then stopped on a dime on the line of scrimmage and then threw it. That was, if you don't like impressive plays, or if you didn't think that was awesome and you're just a hater, like, go watch a different sport because you got to be impressed by that. That was just insane. You're not a football fan.
You're right. I'm a Chargers fan. I don't care. But yeah, no. Patrick Mahomes is an incredible athlete. He just makes things happen when they're not there. I think this was Tom Brady's best performance. I think he threw for almost 400 yards this game. Mike Evans had a hell of a game, but it just wasn't enough. Kansas City was just doing Kansas City things. This offense made one of the top tier defenses look like poo-poo.
Oh, dude, Leonard Fournette had -3 yards rushing. Yeah. Is that real?
Yeah, bro, it was bad.
What? Jesus. Wow, that's hard to do. Yeah, I don't know what else to say about this game. The Bucs offense looks like it's in shambles, and then their defense was okay. I can't say the Bucs offense looks in shambles. They looked a lot better than they have the first 3 weeks. I will say that, but I think they just went up against a really good Chiefs team. If you say the Chiefs aren't good, let's look back at the 4 years where they've made the AFC Championship 4 years in a row. So they are a good team, and they're going to be good for a while. Unfortunately for Dane,
yeah.
But I think they just faced a really good team, the Bucs, and I don't think the Bucs are part of the Elite Four, or at least Elite Three. There's like 3 really elite teams to me right now. But yeah, that's all I got to say.
Yep. Not much else to say. And the final game of the week, we had the Los Angeles Rams getting blown out pretty much by San Francisco.
Got their blacks blown out, baby. Whack, 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 whack. We own you. We own you. That was my best Aaron Rodgers impersonation.
Yeah.
We own you.
God, dude.
All right, so tell me if I'm wrong, Dane. So I don't know if you ever feel like this, but I've noticed I feel like this currently. So it used to be like my most hated rival was the Seahawks, just because I hated them, but I also know why, because they were the best. They were the best in the division, and they would always win the division, and blah blah blah. And now, I enjoyed that we destroyed the Seahawks a couple weeks ago, but when we beat the Rams, and we have beaten the Rams in the regular season 7 times in a row, to be exact. But it's just more satisfying to me. So, do you feel the same way? Like,
definitely.
When you beat the Chiefs,
definitely. Like whenever the Chargers beat the Chiefs, especially if they do it in Arrowhead, it's the most satisfying feeling in the world, because it's like, yeah, crickets, baby. Where were all your fans?
But, well, like, my question is, like, so, like, say if it, like, I'm gonna go on a whim here and say the Chiefs are your least favorite division rival.
Correct.
So, but if the Raiders were like just as good as the Chiefs, I'm sure the Raiders would be your least favorite division rival.
Yes, I would say that. I would say that mostly.
Okay, cool.
But there's a reason. There's a reason.
Yeah, whoever's at the top.
But
right?
there's something else. It's also the fans that I've met in person. I'm just gonna say that.
Oh, for the Chiefs?
No, the Raiders.
Yeah.
Like if the Raiders were just as good as the Chiefs, I would hate the Raiders more, just because I know more Raider fans and how annoying they are to Chargers fans. I just can't stand them.
Yeah, I mean, I lived in Washington for 3 years of my life, and I was surrounded by Seahawk fans, and they are hella annoying. But Rams fans are just as annoying, because bandwagon. I mean, 95% of them are bandwagon fans. But let's talk about this game. Like I said,
dominant performance by the defense.
Yeah, that defense was that defense is insane, dude. We've had some good defenses, but I think this might be one of our best ones in recent since. Last year's ours was really good. The years before was like, I think they were like a top 10, maybe top 15. And then the year we went to the Super Bowl, it lost. They were like a top 5 defense, I believe. But this one, I think this is like legit the number 1 defense in the NFL.
I would agree with that.
Dude, like I know the Rams had a lot of offensive line issues, but so did the 49ers. And we got 5 sacks on the day, maybe 6. And the Rams had 0. So that's impressive to do. Everywhere on the ball, like the front 7, there's not much else that I can say that hasn't been said about the front 7. They're dominant, one of the best linebackers, if not the best linebacker in the NFL. You got Nick Bosa, just all the rotation on that front line. But I think the thing that has separated this defense from previous years is the addition of Travaris Ward, the emergence of Emmanuel Mosley, and the emergence of Talanoa Hufanga. Like, dude, even if you're not a 49er fan, you gotta freaking love watching that dude play. Like, he's Troy Polamalu incarnate. He's so. I have a bet with Casey, and I have another side bet with Casey, and he said same bet with the Vikings and the Patriots. So I'm thinking either I'm gonna get a Deebo Samuel jersey or a Talanoa Hufanga jersey, because that dude, I might wait for him because I want him to get signed before I get his jersey. I don't want to just like him to leave and then I have his jersey. But yeah, man, the freaking defense. The offense, they did their job. I mean, no turnovers, but it was definitely a defensive game. But I mean, I think the 49ers played better than the Rams. For sure. On offense and defense.
For sure, the Rams didn't even score a touchdown.
Yeah, this is like the 4th time or the 5th time that Sean McVay has never scored a touchdown in a game. So that's pretty impressive to do it to a Sean McVay team. I love it. I love when Rams week is up, because I know that's going to change. That's going to turn the season around for the 49ers. It's happened the last 4 fucking years. Either, they beat them and then they, go on a 7-game winning streak. I don't know, Dan, what do you have to say about this game? It was a dominant performance. What do you got to say?
I mean, you pretty much already touched on all the players on the defense that are just out of their freaking minds. I mean, Talanoa Hufanga is one of the most exciting young players to watch, in my opinion. That front 7, Fred Warner, Nick Bosa, Drake Jackson, dude. I love watching Drake Jackson now, too, on that line. He's just a monster as well. Like you said, Travarius Ward. It just was a complete defensive performance. Like, it was complete and utter domination. I mean, how many sacks did they get? Like 5 or 6? It just felt like complete chaos out there for the Rams. Either way,
holy crap, that's 7 sacks.
Yeah, 7 sacks. So like this defense was rolling. I mean, it is always hard to play in San Francisco when they're at home. Their fans are wild. It's loud there. I know it's going to be loud when the Chargers play there and we're at the game. But the offense looked good. I think that maybe some of the statistics will kind of be thrown off by Deebo Samuel because he just makes things happen. Like the amount of tackles that man can break, it's just insane. And
dude, that play, that was that a 70-yard touchdown he had?
I think it was like
50, I don't know.
It was a long touchdown.
Dude, that was insane, bro. He broke 3 or 4 tackles on that play. And against Jalen Ramsey. Like, Jalen Ramsey is the number 1 corner in the NFL. And he, made him look like his son. Wait, you have to ask me who Deebo Samuel is.
Who is Deebo Samuel?
Who It's just a fun little thing because a reporter asked Aaron Donald. A reporter asked Aaron Donald who Deebo Samuel is after like he just murdered the Rams a couple years ago, and he replied, "Who's that?" And so it's just like a little fun thing that 49er fans like to do because now you definitely know who Deebo Samuel is. Like if you didn't before, you definitely do now.
For sure.
I mean Jimmy Garoppolo didn't turn over the ball, which I'm happy. That's like the best thing I can say. When Jimmy he didn't look terrible, but he definitely shows why they went and got Trey Lance. Like he has so many missed throws in these last couple games, and maybe it's just because he didn't get a training camp. He wasn't really with the team during the summer. This is like his preseason, whatever. But I mean, we all knew as 49er fans, like I love Jimmy. Don't get me wrong. Like if he takes us to a Super Bowl, I'm getting a Jimmy Garoppolo. Or let me say this. If he takes us to the Super Bowl and wins, I'm getting a Jimmy Garoppolo jersey. But I'd do the same thing for Trey Lance. Whoever wins us the Super Bowl, I'm getting their jersey. I don't give a fuck. Sorry. But no, he did his job. He's the definition of a game manager. And yeah, we just made more plays than the Rams. The Rams did not make any plays.
Yeah.
So I don't think they made
I will say
I don't think they made any plays on any side of the ball. Sorry.
No, you're good. You're good. The one thing that I'll say is one thing that I'm noticing is it seems to just be Cooper Kupp, and that's it.
Oh, thank you. Thank you.
Stafford seems to be struggling as well because it seems to be just a Cooper Kupp and Tyler Higbee show out there. Allen Robinson can't step up.
Yes.
There's no other receivers to give them help. And so if you're able to take away Cooper Kupp, that offense is left in shambles. And Stafford had a couple missed throws tonight. Stafford will have games like that, I've noticed. But I think he's still a good quarterback. He is turning the ball over at a very high rate this year, though, which is kind of alarming for playoffs and, Super Bowl aspirations again, if they were considering that. But I think they desperately need an Odell Beckham Jr. back on this team to help the team throughout the season.
Yeah, I 100% agree with you, Dane. We talked about the Titans being one-dimensional with just, Derrick Henry. The Rams have turned into a very one-dimensional team. That's the whole reason that Talanoa Hufanga got that pick six is because he knew where he's going to the ball, where Stafford was going with the ball. He was eyeing Cooper Kupp the entire time, and then boom, pick six. So, I mean, I'm not going to say hopefully because I really don't care if he does or not, but I'll say as a NFL fan, hopefully Allen Robinson can step up.
He's going to need to for sure.
Hopefully that run game can get it going because the run game hasn't been what it used to be when Todd Gurley was on that team. They had the best rushing attack in the NFL. Yep. But, the last couple of years, it hasn't been what it used to be. So, yeah, I mean, they'll be fine. They're the Rams. They're a good team. But this was a good win. So, I'm happy.
Yep. I think it was a very exciting week of football. But, yeah, that's going to do it, guys. Thank you again so much for listening and tuning in. This was our Week 4 reaction. We went through a quarter of the NFL season already, so we got 3 more quarters to go. We'll see what happens. Jake, do you have anything you want to add?
Yes, we have 3 more quarters of the NFL, so NFL fans, go out and apologize to your significant others because it's a long season, baby. Good luck to all your teams, except if you're Rams, Cardinals, Seahawks, Chiefs, Raiders, Broncos, Steelers, Patriots, Packers. Pretty much everybody who's not the Chiefs or everybody who's not the Chargers and the 49ers.
Pretty much.
Yeah, if you haven't already, listen or follow us on Instagram, follow us on Spotify, whatever. Like, comment, subscribe. And as always, Dane, peace.